That is great. All right. Let's see. Anyone's on here? We are live. We are getting started here. Let's see. Okay. Nope. Nope. So I actually cannot see.
Oh, shoot.
Give me a second here, guys. Anyone's on? Okay, so okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. So you and I are on right now. I couldn't see the participants as they came on. So
Oh, yeah.
So I'll share my screen in a second.
Oh, yay.
Comes on. Okay, let's see.
Hey, welcome.
Okay, there we go. Let's see, do we have anyone on?
Yeah, one.
All right, awesome.
Unique, Miss Angie. Yeah, welcome.
Yes, welcome to Scar Talk. We'll give it a few more minutes as people are still joining. So excited, Kelly.
You.
Together.
Yes. So grateful. Super grateful.
And I guess we've known each other since what, August of last year.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So much growth. It's been awesome.
Exactly. So when everyone comes on, or we'll start at 6 and then we'll kind of, tell them our background and how we met.
Yeah.
So make sure that I have everything set up here. So how's your day today?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was great. Been looking forward to this all day, and yeah, definitely been resourcing and getting excited, and yeah.
Were you making last minute tweaks to your slides today? Because I was.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. In a good way of like, okay, I want to try, make sure this is
right.
And yeah, I was excited.
Cool. So this is actually my second webinar.
I know.
You are my first one.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah.
That's good.
Big fan.
Webinar. Yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was really informative, super informative.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to give it one more minute here.
Yeah, sounds good.
And then we'll just get started. So I know one of the people that I sent it to said they're going to be a little bit late.
That's okay. Yeah.
So, they're an hour behind us.
Yes, no worries.
There'll be people joining a little bit late.
Yeah, just happy to be here.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
All right, so I know that we have a lot to cover today, Kelly, or you have a lot to cover. Yeah. So it's 6 o'clock now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome you all to Scar Talk. I really appreciate you joining here. We have the beautiful Kelly, and she'll be talking to us today about the Community Resource Model. And I'm just so excited to have you, Kelly. Thank you for joining.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you so much for having me. I'm so, so grateful to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So a little background about how we met. So last year, from January to August of 2021, I did a lot of self-development, and I attended about 5 or 6 different seminars. And I'll tell you more about that in my story later. But I actually met Kelly at one of the seminars called the World Summit, which was hosted by, was it Dean Graziosi and Tony.
Tony Robbins, yeah.
We met actually just like this in a
Yes.
Zoom room. And I just saw her smiling face. I'm just like, oh my gosh, she looks so friendly.
Oh,
We need to keep in touch. So we have been keeping in touch since August. We've been like accountability partners where we met. At first, it was, I think it was once a week.
yep.
And now it's probably like twice a month. But we help each other, give business advice, and we just talk about goals, and it's really been awesome. So I thank you, Kelly, for that.
Oh, it has kept me going. It has absolutely kept me going, and it has been such a joy. And I just remember meeting you and being like, your mission is so amazing, and I'm so excited about it. And the fact that we're doing this today is just an amazing experience. I'm super excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We can get started here. And okay, there we go. I'm going to present. Okay, so welcome you all to SCAR Talk. We're going to be talking about the Community Resilience Model today with Kelly. And I'm going to go over a few things with you before she gets started. And I want to give you guys a little bit of background about me. I am originally from East Orange, New Jersey, and I currently live in Maryland. And I do have a day job outside of SCAR Power. And SCAR Power is hopefully the end game. But I do have to work. I'm a contractor and a business analyst for a government agency in DC. Thankfully, I don't have to commute into DC anymore. I work remote with everything going on. But I have an amazing, awesome 14-year-old son who's into baseball and basketball. His name is Trey, and I'm so proud of him. So I kind of got some Christmas pictures here for us. If you follow me on social media, you've probably seen this before. But I'm so proud of him. He's amazing. So I wanted to share him again. Fun fact about me: I wasn't in the NFL, but I was a cheerleader in 2005, which was a really fun experience. It was very hard work, but it was worth it, and I enjoyed it. So that was fun. I love to read, write, dance, watch movies. Some of my favorite movies are Back to the Future 1 and 2, not 3. My cousin Vinny, The 5 Heartbeats. And if you watch any of those movies with me, I can say most of them word for word. So you probably don't want to watch them with me if you haven't seen them. I also like to hang out with family and friends, and usually that consists of eating out, or it consists of food, I should say, because I love to eat and go out to restaurants. All right. Next, so I want to share with you guys my SCAR story if you have not heard it already. As you can see, in 2009, I underwent plastic surgery to remove a chest keloid. So on the picture on the right, this is how it started. And I think I got, I used to wear a cross chain, and I think it gave me like a deep scratch. And that's how the keloid started. And it just started to grow and grow. And I think by the time I got the surgery, it was a little bit bigger than that, what you see here, but it was still pretty small compared to what I have now. But I went and got it removed with a plastic surgeon, and he told me to use this cream called Aldera cream, which gave me a huge chemical burn, which is kind of the shape of it now. And that keloided again. So I had this huge scar, like 100 times bigger than it was. And so I went to another plastic surgeon, and I had 2 additional surgeries to try to remove the scar that made, but it started to keloid again. So we just said, let's leave it alone, and we'll do steroid injections. So I actually have been getting steroid injections for over 12 years to keep the scar as flat as it is. and to maintain it. So for 12 years, I actually hid my scar. I never wore anything low cut. I was just very insecure. I was ashamed. I felt unworthy about it. And I actually did not show my scar until July of last year. So, and I felt that if, I was feeling like this, it's got to be the other women that has to have, be feeling the same way. And that is the start of Scar Power. So the number one thing that helped me was actually self-development. Like I said before, I did a lot of self-development. 8 months of seminars. I attended 5 seminars, started in January. They were all basically Tony Robbins seminars. But I have a list here. So I did the New World, New You seminar in January. I did Unleash the Power Within in March. I did Wealth Mastery in April. I did Own Your Future Challenge in May. And I did the World Summit seminar in August, where I met Kelly. And I bought different programs, spent a lot of money on buying self-development programs. I journaled, I meditated, and I did, a lot of things that helped me overcome my scar story and be in this place right now. Because I literally had an epiphany, like, oh my gosh, if I'm doing this and there's other women doing it, and I can just start this whole movement of, helping women to, empower themselves in spite of their scars. And so I actually launched in August of 2021. I actually started working on the company in May of 2021. And the funny thing is that when I started this whole concept, I was still insecure about my scar. Like, I was still scared to share it. So I'm like, okay, so how am I going to start this company, but still be scared to show my scar and tell other women to show their scars? But, and that was kind of the start of the blog, right? Because I'm like, okay, if I'm still scared to show it, I can still show my journey. I can still write about it. I can write about the thing that scares me, and people can follow me on this journey, as I go through and as I break out with my scar. So that's actually how my blog started. But so going back, Scar Power launched in 2021. The mission is to educate and empower women with scars to overcome their insecurities, build confidence, and step into their power. Its purpose is to create a safe community that encourages women to be themselves, love themselves, and celebrate themselves exactly as they are. And one point that I want to make is that the physical scars versus mental scars, I get a lot of questions from people like, okay, what kind of scar are you talking about? Is it mental? Is it physical? Because I don't have any physical scars, so I don't know, if your company or your group is right for me. And it covers everything. Scar Power is, we're talking about mental scars, we're talking about physical scars. It's an empowerment company that helps you build your confidence, help you step into your power. So it covers the whole gamut of scars, and it's different because I'm not a therapist. So it's not like, if you have an actual mental disability or something that you need to talk to a therapist with, that's not necessarily what I do. It's more on the empowerment side where, like me, you have a scar and you're scared to show it. It's like, okay, well, we need to get you out of that scar story. Let's, do something different or try this or do that so that you can live your best life, because we are all here for a purpose. We're not here to hide behind our scars. So, that's why I wanted to start this movement, to help other women come out of their scar stories and empower themselves. So different avenues that I have in my company is the blog, which I mentioned, and I also have Scarlights. So I did not want the company to be just about me, right? Even though, like, I'm the face of it, this is my story, this is why I did it. It's like, okay, now I need to find a way to incorporate other people into it. So I started Scarlights, which is a platform where I do feature articles on beautiful women who have scars, physical scars, and that allows me to showcase them, showcase their scar story and how they overcame it, how they empower themselves in order to help empower other women. So I think I have about 5 Scarlights up on the website right now, so you can go back and read them if you like. Also, I have Scar Power Apparel, because one of the things when you have a physical scar, it's like people think that you don't know that you have a scar. It's like, they're looking at you or they're pointing, or it's like, oh, hey, what is that? And it's like, what? what are you talking about? Right? So I wanted them to be able to see the scar, but I also wanted them to see scar power. And this says, yes, I know that I have a scar, but it's my power. Like, I don't care. I'm confident about it. It is what it is. Right. So it's kind of like answering the question without having to tell them because they see it. So I wanted to give other women the opportunity to have their scar power gear, like I had mine on here. So you see my scar, you see my shirt, and then you get it, right? And also I have a book club because, like I said before, self-development was one of my biggest helps in me getting out of my scar story. So kind of like giving back to the self-development world by having a book club to help other women come together and learn principles, be able to support each other, empower each other through their own journeys, getting over their scars. So, that's something that I wanted to do to help bring us together and get out of our scar stories together. We all stand up, then we all, can make a change. Okay, and so on the next slide, I do special events as well. So this is actually from a photo shoot that I did called Model Scars. And I got this idea, I saw a Vogue magazine article, and there were models, and they were like, oh, I have scars and I'm not afraid, and don't be afraid. And I was like, that's a good idea, I can do that. So I put out an event. I did a model call for models to come out and model in the event. And these are the two beautiful women that came out, Tamika and Katrina. Katrina is in the black, Tamika is in the white. Katrina is actually one of our scar lights. So you can see the scar in the middle of her stomach. So years ago, when she was in her 20s, she had a cancer tumor, a huge cancer tumor in her stomach that they had to cut out. And they didn't think that she would make it because it was connected to other organs, but she got through it. And so you can go and read her story on the website at scarpower.co. And yeah, so that was a pretty cool event to do. I actually think I might make that a yearly event. So I'll do it at some point this year. So if anybody's interested, you guys can certainly look out for that. And then another event is the Scar Talk, which we're actually on. This is my second Scar Talk. I've done one with my personal doctor, Dr. Ambro, when was it? November? A couple months ago, I did one with my personal doctor, Dr. Ambro, and it was great. We talked about keloid and hypertrophic scars. He gave us some information, gave us, what we need to do if we had them, some treatments, what's the best treatment for pricing. So if you're interested in that, I actually have that on my YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch that as well. And I'm actually going to have couple more Scar Talks scheduled. So next month for February, we're doing a special Valentine's Day Scar Talk where I'm going to have a roundtable of about 9-10 different women to talk about their, love scars, I guess I can say, whether it's relationships or family or anything that they have going on in the love category. They'll, talk about their experience, and they'll give some tips on how they overcame, or some lessons. They'll give lessons to us on how they overcame their issues. And so it's going to be a great event. So look out for that as well. And in March, I'm going to do one of the women that I met. I don't know if she's on. Her name is Nicole. I told her to join today, but we're going to do a Scar Talk together. Her company is called Scarred and Free. And so she's the advocate for keloid. And she is going to do a keloid awareness month in March. So we are actually going to do another webinar together. And I'm so excited about that. So Nicole, if you are on, hello. And here is my social media. I'm everywhere, as you can see, but I will tell you that I am most active on Instagram and Facebook. You'll see me on TikTok sometime because I told you I love to dance, so I do my dance videos. But Twitter, Pinterest, they get a little bit of love, but I'm only one person, so I can't do it all. But it's coming. So you can absolutely subscribe to follow me on any of these platforms. I'm at Scar Power Co. So anywhere you go, at Scar Power Co. That's my handle. I also have a Scars to Confidence Facebook group, which is rocking right now. I have an admin and moderator. Her name is Syra. And I don't know if she's on, but big ups to Syra. Because she is a rock in that group. I'm so grateful for her. And she just has amazing posts and conversations. And I will get on there and I'll respond to comments and post some stuff as well. And I love talking to all of the beautiful women in that group. If you are on from Scars to Confidence Facebook group, hi. Thank you for joining. And so yeah, my website is scarpower.co. If you need to reach me personally, you can reach me at amira@scarpower.co. And I also just want to say thank you to Kelly again, because she just told me about this little gadget here where you can actually scan the QR code. So I got my own QR code for Scar Power, and I'm actually pretty excited about that. And so I'm like, that is so cool. I'm gonna put that here. So if you have your phone, you can scan it right now, and that'll just take you to my website. And I think that is awesome. I'm gonna use it everywhere. Every person that I meet, I'm gonna say, hey, let me see your phone. And I'm just gonna let them go to my website. So that's pretty fun. So that is about me. Thank you guys so much for listening. And now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to hand this over to Kelly.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that, Amir, and the incredible work that you're doing. It is really inspiring and amazing. And you're getting lots of love in the chat. Yes, Amir, you look so beautiful. Proud to be part of this community, of your community. Happy to be here and very proud too. Thank you, Amir and Nicole. So you're getting lots of love in the chat. So good work. All right, so welcome. I'll share my screen here. Actually, give me 1 second here. Let's see, thought I had it ready. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. So welcome. I am so grateful, Amira. Thank you so much for sharing all of that and the incredible work that you're doing. I just want to take a few moments to share a little bit about who I am and my connection to the scar power as well, because I have my own scar story that I'll just tell you briefly about. So my name is Kelly Purcell, and I am, as Amira said, we were able to meet and connect, and we're growing this on the same journey of growing a business and company with a mission, a really strong mission. And I have had the opportunity to share this model, the Community Resiliency Model, with over 1,000 people across the US and the world. And I'm a trauma-informed yoga teacher and do sound healing with crystal singing bowls, and have had the opportunity to help people feel safer in their bodies. And that's what a lot of this stuff has done for me personally. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing it. But as Amira said, similar to my story, I wasn't always this confident in being able to speak to people or manage my stress or even anxiety. I had so much anxiety and torn down with perfectionism and people pleasing and just so much unworthiness, as Amira spoke to as well. Like, there was so much of that. And I actually had a surfing accident. So I was traveling in Portugal and had a surfing accident, but I knew I'd be okay when this British man said, you're going to be okay. And he helped me out of the water. And I just felt the deepest breath that I can still remember right now. Just this felt sense in my body, like, you are going to be okay. And so after that, I was really upset about the scar and what it would look like, and just all the thoughts that go along with that, as Amira spoke to as well. That feeling of unworthiness, and there was just so much of that. And actually later on that trip, I met a young German man who said, Kelly, there are millions of people who have invisible scars that nobody knows about, in addition to physical scars. And something just shifted in me when he said that, as Amira was speaking as well about the mental scars, right? There's these mental or invisible or internal scars as well. And I realized there was something that just shifted in me when he said that. And that year I actually began to learn about trauma and the impacts on the brain and body, as well as healing and the science of how it affects our bodies and how we can heal. And a lot of these things that I've learned along the way have helped me truly heal. And that's why I'm so passionate and excited about sharing them. And my mission is with my organization is to coach people, helping them to incorporate the science-based tools into their lives to positively impact their well-being and of their community. So really, it's using all of the things that I've learned to help others. And the core values are self-compassion. I really want to help people find the beauty of self-compassion, because it's a game changer. It's truly changed my life, and that's huge for me. Growth mindset, right? As we were talking about with the seminars, we learned so much about that, and we both talk about that. We are able to try things and fail, and that's how it's allowed me to be able to share my voice and have this mission. And I'm so grateful for that. And I want other women to feel empowered. That's another part of this model, and the piece of it is empowerment as well as connection. I felt very disconnected from myself and others for a very long time. And these skills and these things that I've learned along the way have helped me feel true connection. And I want that for everyone. And it is such a beautiful thing. And presence, being able to be fully present, right? Our lives don't happen in the past. They don't happen in the future. They happen right now in this moment. And these skills that we're going to learn today are part of how we can begin to do that. So thank you for letting me share that little bit of my story and my why, because I'm so grateful to be able to share this with you today. I've put in the chat the activity booklet that you're welcome to look at and use throughout this time together. And Amira, feel free to reach out to Amira if at any point you need to talk with her or feel any sort of dysregulation or anything. Feel free to reach out to her throughout this time. And so this is the Community Resiliency Model, and it's an amazing model that's a biological approach to manage stress and to cultivate well-being. And it was created by Elaine Miller-Karras out of the Trauma Resource Institute, an amazing woman, so amazing. She really wanted to help empower people with skills to regulate their nervous system. And she wanted it to be accessible to all people. And it's now used all over the world, all over the US, all over the world. And we all have a nervous system. It's based on our biology. It's based on our nervous system. And so anyone can learn this model, whether you're younger or older, and anyone can learn this model because it's based on our biology. So today, this is a brief introduction, but I want to share some of the key concepts as well as a few of the skills, but I also want to be mindful of your time, but I really want you to get as much of this as you can. So we may go over a little bit. So if you need to jump off, feel free, but we'll have a great time together really learning the two of the key concepts, which are the resilient zone and why a biological model. And then we'll learn 4 of the skills: tracking, resourcing, grounding, and help now. So what we love to do is invite people to remember what else is true. So I just invite you to put in the chat what or who, if you're willing and want to, what or who uplifts you, what or who gives you strength, and what or who helps you get through hard times. Just putting that in the chat if you'd like.
I just want to note too, Kelly, that if you guys have questions at any point, you can just hit the question box. And what that does is it gives us a box of all the questions listed. So then we'll, answer questions at the end.
Great. So just thinking about this resiliency pause, what or who uplifts you, what or who gives you strength, What or who gets you through hard times? Just invite you to think about that. Perhaps put it in the chat if you'd like. I notice I just took a deeper breath, just pausing and thinking about what it is for me. Being in community is something that truly uplifts me. This evening is something that is so definitely a resource for me. Amira said, my son, beautiful. Yeah, and I noticed your big smile. That's this model, right? Just being able to shift our attention to something that brings us a sense of peace or calm or uplifts us. Prayer and meditation is my answer for all three. Oh, thank you. Yes. And I'm noticing my shoulders softening as you're sharing these things. And so that's part of this model, is being able to also notice parts of our bodies that feel more pleasant or neutral when we think about those things that uplift us or give us strength or get us through. So I invite you throughout, if at any point you want to revisit your resiliency pause or ask yourself this question, it can really help to reset your focus and your nervous system as well. And I also want to bring your attention to a free wellness app. This has all the wellness skills from the Trauma Resource Institute. It is completely free and has all the skills and an amazing resource. So again, this is not replacement for therapy, but just knowing that it can be so helpful to help regulate your nervous system and really help cultivate your well-being. So we know that resiliency can mean different things to different people. And I hope that this evening that you will honor and really take a moment to really honor your resilience and the incredible resilience that you have within yourself. And one of the definitions that Elaine shares as her definition of resiliency is that resiliency is an individual's and community's ability to identify and use individual and collective strengths in living fully with compassion in the present moment and to thrive while managing the activities of daily living. And I love Maya Angelou is such a mentor and guiding light in my life. And I love this quote. She says, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. So that just helps to show kind of some resilience. And she is one of incredible women of resilience. We have another resiliency pause. I uplift myself as well as close friends. Beautiful. At the end of the day, I give myself strength, always talking to myself, and yes, out loud. With experience, I have learned how to cope during hard times. Books, videos, audios, and organizations like Scar Power are all very important. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. It is so true. How we talk to ourselves matters so much. And the people we surround ourselves, the communities we get involved with matter so much. So thank you so much for sharing that. Beautiful. So the first key concept is the resilient zone. And this is a state of well-being in mind, body, and spirit. It's really a place or a state when you feel like your best self. You feel like you are able to manage the daily ups and downs, right? You're still able to have some stressors in your life, but you're still able to manage it. You're able to make decisions that feel like they're in alignment with really who you are and yourself. And you're able to experience all the different emotions. As human beings, that's being human, being able to be angry and sad and frustrated. That's part of being human, but we're still able to manage those things. And again, it's the state of well-being, and it's really like this natural ebb and flow of energy. Our bodies have this beautiful rhythm, this natural balance of a charge and release of energy. And when we're in balance, when we're in our resilient zone, we have this sense of balance and a state of well-being in mind, body, and spirit. And that can vary, right, depending on different circumstances, but we're still able to manage those ups and downs. But what can happen is we can get what's called bumped out of our resilient zone. When we have a stressful event or a stressful reminder or even a traumatic event, we can get what's called bumped out of our resilient zone. And I want you to also know that this is normal, right? It is part of our biology to keep us alive and safe, to bump us out of our resilient zone at times to keep us safe, right? Our brains and our bodies are designed to keep us alive. So if we need to get away from a threat or something happens, we need to be able to run and have that extra energy to get out. So we can get bumped high or low out of the resilient zone. But what the problem becomes is when we get stuck there. And when we get stuck there, we may experience things like feeling edgy or irritable. I know for me, it's a sense of control. I like my perfectionism. I need to control everything. My thoughts are so all over the place. I feel a lot of anxiety when I'm stuck high, and even physical pain or anger outbursts. And conversely, we can get bumped low out of the resilient zone, and we may experience things like depression and sadness, isolation, feeling isolated, exhaustion, fatigue, numbness. For me, it's like I don't want to do anything. I don't want to reach out to anyone. I definitely sometimes feel like eating less, like just those kind of things to begin to notice. But then I can notice them, and that's the beauty of this model, is being able to recognize when we're bumped out of our zone. For so long in my life, I was being bumped high and low and high, and I didn't even know it, right? That's how this model is so empowering, is being able to then notice and be able to use a skill to get back into your resilient zone. So the purpose of this model is to widen our resilient zone, as well as to use the skills, which are based on our biology, they're based on science, to get us back in our resilient zone, to that state of well-being where we can really feel like our best selves. So again, and knowing that our resilient zone may vary depending on our life experiences, as well as maybe how well we slept or how much food we had, right? That can vary. So just knowing that this model, I want us to really help know that this information can help us feel more compassionate toward ourselves, knowing that, oh, wow, I was just bumped out of my zone. I need to use a skill to get back into my resilient zone. So I invite you, when we look at this slide and have this talk, to look at this lens, to look at this with the lens of self-compassion, because just like, I didn't know this, but now I do, that there are common reactions to stress and trauma. And when we experience things like stressful events or traumatic events, there are common reactions based on our biology and our ways to cope with those experiences. And similar to like when we get a cold, right? Maybe a cough or a runny nose is like a symptom or something that is a reaction to that. In this way, these are some common reactions. The Trauma Resource Institute has done this work all over the world, and these are things that they found are common reactions. So for example, relationships, I know for me, I push people away. That's very much a reaction. And they're also being angry at others or feeling isolated, as well as physical things, physical common reactions in our bodies, perhaps numbness or fatigue, physical pain, breathing problems, stomach aches, even behavioral things like that, anxiety and shame, depression, right? These are things that are ways to cope and kind of symptoms of stress and trauma. Again, I want us to look at this from a self-compassion lens, or more of a compassionate lens, in that, oh, wow, like, these are things that maybe my body and I was doing to cope, or think about how to, my body's trying to regulate and respond. So helping to really have that compassion. And we also know that there are common reactions of resilience. We know this. And Maya Angelou is such an incredible example, as well as all of you on this call, right? We've been through things, and it is I love this. This is one of the quotes that Amira uses as well. The wound is the place where the light enters you, by Rumi. And it's so true, right? We all have this deep resilience, or we wouldn't be here. And one of the things that I love about common reactions for resilience is strength and courage. It could be people coming together with a joint purpose or a mission, like Amira's beautiful mission. Gratitude for me is such a resource and such a thing that helps me continue to be resilient. Being a stronger advocate, a greater sense of hope, increased faith, wisdom, compassion for self and others, forgiveness, transformation. All of these things are also what else is true, right? This model is about not ignoring the hard things and recognizing what else is true. And I love this quote: "Nothing can dim the light which shines from within," by Maya Angelou again. So I just invite you, if you'd like, to kind of check in as we begin this model, as we do with this model. It's always invitational. If you would like, I just invite you to check in with yourself and kind of notice, do you feel more in your resilient zone? Are you more in your high or low zone? Or where, just beginning to notice. That's the first step. Awareness is the first step. And it's so helpful in being able to recognize and be able to use a skill. So we'll get into this next part. So throughout this, I invite you to check in with your nervous system and see where you are in your resilient zone. So I just want to briefly explain two important parts of why a biological model. There has been an amazing study called the ACEs study. If you've never heard of it, I highly recommend looking up Nadine Burke-Harris and her TED Talk about the ACEs study. But what this helps us understand is that our nervous system, I love to think about this like a gas pedal and a brake, right? The sympathetic is our gas pedal. These are simply explained our two parts of our nervous system, but the gas pedal is preparing us for action. That's when we need to escape a threat or move quickly, or even when we're exercising, right? It's time during times of stress, our breathing rate increases, our heart rate increases, our pupils dilate to see what's going on around us, our blood pressure increases, sweating, stress hormones get released in our bodies, and our digestion goes down because we don't need to digest our food if we need to get away from a bear, right? Or something that's threatening us. But, and then conversely, we have the parasympathetic. That's like the brake, that's preparing us for rest. When that part of our nervous system is activated, our breathing rate slows down, our heart rate slows down, our pupils constrict, our blood pressure slows down, the sweating stops, and our stress hormones are released again from the bloodstream. And our digestion comes back on because our organs are able to process that and digest food now. So what can happen is, if we have a lot of stress or have experienced a lot of stress or even trauma, our gas pedal can stay on high all the time, even if we're at our desk and we get a lot of emails, right? This can be happening and we don't even realize it. And so we intentionally have to be able to turn on the brake and really turn on that parasympathetic nervous system. And for me, this was so life-changing, because a lot of the things that I do now with the restorative yoga and the sound healing and this model is using the skills to really turn on the brake of our nervous system, to restore and let the natural wisdom of our bodies heal and allow that natural rhythm, that natural balance to come back in line. Because when this is working correctly, that's what we need it to do. It's beautifully, elegantly designed. We can intentionally turn on that brake to get it going again. And then we know that the brain can change. There's neuroplasticity. It's a new science, or a science that really tells us that brain cells that wire together fire together. So when we learn skills like the Community Resiliency Model, wellness skills, or things you already do to uplift yourself and to really manage your well-being, you're creating new neural pathways. You're creating a new pathway in your brain that's more wired toward resilience and toward well-being. So we're going to jump into the skills. So once again, the iChill app is there. The Community Resiliency Model has 6 wellness skills. And I like to use my hand to show the tracking is the foundational skill. It's the most important. It's how we really stabilize our nervous system. And it's basically reading our nervous system. And then we have resourcing, grounding, help now, shift and stay, and gesturing. So today we're going to talk about resourcing, tracking, resourcing, grounding, and help now. So once again, tracking is reading your nervous system. It's being able to tell if you are in your resilient zone or if you're bumped high or low. We're just reading our nervous system. So again, this is always invitational, knowing that sometimes, beginning to track or sense your body can feel different, and just know that it's always optional to begin to practice the skills or not. So always your choice. But tracking really, again, is just simply beginning to notice or pay attention to what is happening inside your body at the present moment. And so you can begin to ask yourself, what do I notice happening on the inside? And are these sensations pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? This is kind of like the GPS of the body, right? If we don't know that that the gas is on the whole time, we don't know that we need to turn on the brake, right? This is just helping us notice what's happening. And it's like the GPS. This is what gives us control of if we're feeling that shame or that anxiety or all of those things. We can choose to notice more pleasant or neutral sensations and shift to something more pleasant or neutral to get out of that pattern of those old habits. So a sensation is basically a physical experience in the body. We have billions of receptors within our bodies that are distributed all throughout our bodies. And we know that our life experiences, as well as our thoughts and our feelings, have a corresponding physical sensation, a physical experience in our bodies. And so we want to learn to tell the difference between sensations of distress and sensations of well-being, because that's where the empowerment comes. That's where the choice becomes. And then we can truly shift to helping restore balance in our brains and our bodies. And so again, tracking is simply paying attention to, is the sensation that I may be feeling and noticing in my body, is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? And we want to sit with those pleasant or neutral sensations to build those new neural pathways. So a pleasant sensation is something that you feel like, oh yeah, that feels pleasant. I kind of want to cultivate more of that, or that feels good. Unpleasant, you don't necessarily want it or enjoy it, like that you more so want to push it away. And neutral, I love neutral, because neutral is also great. Neutral is, you don't necessarily want to enhance it or push it away. It's more of like just a neutral sensation. For example, like sometimes the tip of my nose or the tops of my ears, some of those, if I'm feeling a sense of unpleasantness, I can shift to a more neutral place and just notice it, and then notice how my shoulders soften or whatever else may continue to be more pleasant or neutral. So briefly, these are some of the words connected to sensations. Once again, the tracking is the foundational skill to stabilize our nervous system. So shallow breathing, some of the things connected to more stress and trauma are shallow breathing, a rapid heart rate, tense muscles, pain, resiliency or well-being, taking a deeper breath perhaps, or noticing a slower heart rate or muscle relaxation, or perhaps feeling more grounded. And a release sensation is also good. When we have experienced something stressful, you may have noticed some shaking or trembling, and that's your body's natural rhythm of getting rid of stress energy from the body. So those are good to notice too. Burping and yawning are actually release sensations. So being able to notice those can help notice when you're coming back into your resilient zone. So this is like learning a new language, right? For many of us, we didn't necessarily learn sensory language or sensation language. So these are just a few words to describe some sensation. So I am going to invite you, if you'd like, to join me for a brief tracking exercise. And so if you want, you can bring your hands together and just begin rubbing them slowly. And then begin rubbing them a little bit faster. What do you notice happening on the inside? And then go ahead and stop. Now, what do you notice? Good. So just go ahead and notice those things, those sensations, perhaps some warming, cooling, tingling. just those are sensory words. Those are sensations that are happening inside the body that we can begin to name again. So then we have the power to really choose and cultivate those sensations of well-being. So we're now going to practice one of the foundational or another incredible skill to cultivate well-being, and it's called resourcing. It's a great way to learn tracking because it had a lot of our resources have those sensations of well-being. So a resource is anything that brings you a sense of peace or calm or joy or strength or uplifts you. So I invite you to, if you'd like, once again, to put in the chat or just think about, but to look at this photo and just imagine and think about what might be pleasant for the people in this photo. What do you think might be pleasant for the people in this photo? Feel free to put it in the chat or just think about it. Food and community, yes. Laughter, enjoying each other's company, absolutely. Yeah, so as you think about that, food and community, I just invite you to notice what's happening on the inside. I noticed my belly softened, and that feels really pleasant to me. I did also notice my shoulders soften, connect and belonging, support. Oh, I feel a warmth in my chest right here, and that feels really pleasant. I'm able to notice that even reading the comments of support, connect, and belonging. So just noticing, right? Slowing down. This model is about slowing down and beginning to start to track and notice those sensations of well-being. So as we identify, what I love about this model is it's about you and your resilience and your well-being. So this can be your resource, whatever it is that uplifts you or gives you a sense of calm or peace or makes you feel strong or resilient. These are things that can be anything. It could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing or a specific memory or a character trait you're so proud of about yourself or that you love about yourself. Just thinking about that, they can be real or they can be imagined. They can be internal, like some of those character traits, some of those stronger things inside, like your faith or those character traits again, or external, like those people, places, things. So I just invite you to take a moment to think about and perhaps write down a resource and 3 additional resources. So I'll give you one of my resources. So drinking tea is kind of a combination of all the skills for me, because drinking tea in the morning, I love my favorite cup, right? It's just this favorite mug that I drink out of. I love my yogi teas where they have the quote. So a resource for me in the morning is seeing the steam coming out of the cup of my mug. I put my hands on the mug and I can feel the warmth of the water and of the mug. And even as I'm explaining that right now, I feel my belly soften and that feels really good. I see when I have this resource, I see the beautiful inspirational quotes. And in the morning, that really is so uplifting to me. So resourcing can be, you can do it in the moment as you begin to notice this model and do this model, you'll begin to say, oh, I could use this as a resource. I can do that. And the beauty of it is if you are feeling bumped out of your zone, you can just think about your resource. Even when I think about tea in the morning or drinking tea, I feel my shoulders soften. I can feel a little bit of warmth in my hands when I even just think about it. Our brains are incredible, right? They're incredible. And so, but what we want you to do is really write down some additional details. What are some of the sounds, smells, sights that are pleasant to you? So if you'd like, I invite you to either write them down or think about them to really enhance and get that really clear picture in your mind. And if you'd like, you can put it in the chat and put in your resource. And then again, I want to invite you to perhaps notice what's happening in your nervous system. any pleasant or neutral sensations, knowing you can always shift to a different resource if you want. Or I notice I took a deeper breath. Oh, the beach in Aruba, the water, the warmth, the sun, feeling relaxed and happy, beautiful. So I just invite you to notice, where does that happy land in your body? Where do you kind of feel that in your nervous system? And just noticing that, and perhaps noticing any pleasant or neutral sensations. Oh, I love that. I thought I was the only one who has a special, beautiful mug that helps start the morning. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Me too. I love it. Herbal tea in the morning, the smell of the fruity flavors, the sound of the tea kettle. Yes. The Minnie Mouse mug I use. Oh, beautiful example. I start my morning with a playlist. Oh, those songs, music can be so powerful. So I just invite you, when you're listening to your music in the morning, when you're having your tea with your favorite mug, just begin to notice what's happening on the inside when you hold your favorite mug, or when you're dancing to your favorite playlist, your favorite song. Just start to notice those things, and that can help bring you back into your resilient zone and widen your resilient zone. So thank you so much for sharing all those beautiful examples. Whoops. And then there we go. So again, I love y'all are doing it, being able to have those even deeper sensory experiences, such as, what do you smell? What do you taste? What do you see? What do you feel? All of those things. And these are just some other examples of resources. So again, we did this, but again, just really being able to ask yourself, what do you notice happening on the inside? And is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Perhaps shoulders softening, or my jaw can be really tight. So when it softens, that feels really pleasant to me. So just beginning to notice those sensations of well-being. And we know that, again, brain cells that fire together, wire together. The more we cultivate this and build this into our daily routine, we can begin to start our day off with this well-being. And that is building resilience and building those new neural pathways to well-being, and truly enhancing our health in the short term and the long term, because we know the more regulated our nervous system is, the better our health outcomes. We know that science has showed us that. And so I love this quote by Brene Brown, another one of my mentors: joy collected over time fuels resilience, ensuring we'll have reservoirs of emotional strength when hard things do happen. So knowing these resources, you can have a variety of resources, keeping your tool belt of well-being, right? Your toolbox. So you can really use this now and think about your resources, write them down, have pictures of them, put them all over, and you can really start resourcing and really collect those joys. So I just invite you, if you'd like to put it in the chat as well, noticing, is there any shifts in your nervous system? Are you feeling more in your zone or anything like that? Just noticing that. And I know that we're running short on time, so I want to keep moving along, but the next skill is grounding, which has been so transformative in my life, so helpful. And talking about feeling more connected, this skill is really what has truly helped me feel more connected to myself and others. And it's noticing the direct contact of your body or a part of your body that provides support in the present moment. You can ground in many different ways. There's no one size fits all here. You can ground in many different ways. We know that people don't ground in the same way, not the same, no position is, we just want you to find a position that feels most comfortable to you. So the biggest thing that I learned about this is that when we don't feel grounded or a sense of gravitational security, it's so much harder for our relationships to develop optimally. We have a harder time connecting with others if we don't feel as grounded or secure, to connected to the earth or to something, anything providing support in the moment. And so we can ground in different ways. We can ground by leaning against a wall or leaning against the chair, walking and noticing your feet. I do that a lot. Being able to sit in a chair or on the sofa and just ground, noticing you can lay down and ground. I often ground before this webinar. I grounded through my hand to really feel my hand on the desk and just notice it, right? When we're grounded, we're not thinking about the past, we're not worrying about the future, we're able to be fully present here. So I invite you to think about any position, or if you'd like, once again, always invitational, but I will walk you through a grounding activity if you would like. So I invite you to find any position that feels comfortable to you. You can be seated, lying down, stand, anything that feels most comfortable to you. And as you find a comfortable position, I invite you to begin to bring your attention to places that provide support in the moment. Perhaps notice your breathing, your heart rate, your muscle relaxation. Perhaps notice especially any places inside that feel more pleasant or neutral. Next, bring your attention to your back, your lower body, thighs, legs. And if you're sitting or standing, notice how your feet are resting on the floor and how they're making contact with the ground. I invite you to bring your attention to the sensations that are calming or neutral within your body. Take your time. And as you bring your attention to neutral or pleasant sensations, notice your breathing rate, your heart rate, muscle relaxation. If you become aware of an uncomfortable or even painful sensation, I invite you to shift your attention to places that feel better, more comfortable or neutral, and notice the change. As a way to bring your practice of grounding to a close, slowly scan your body from head to toe, bringing your attention to all the places inside that have changed in a more pleasant or neutral way since you started. Take your time. And when you're ready, you can bring your awareness back to the room or the space where you are. If you need more time, I invite you to take all the time that you need. And that's a skill from the Community Resiliency Model, as well as from the iChill app. You can listen to that app at any time, and that activity is read by the creator of the model, and she reads it in this beautiful way. So I just invite you to notice any changes, any shifting. If you want, you can put it in the chat if that was helpful. Just noticing that, again, you can ground in many different ways, and it really helps us to feel more connected to ourselves and others. And the last skill, I know we're running a little bit over, but I want to share this last skill, which is one of my favorites. Oh, wonderful, very helpful and relaxing, wonderful. And so I just invite you to notice that relaxation, notice that sense of feeling more relaxed in your body. And so help now is or we call it reset now. This is a skill that can be used when you are feeling really bumped out of your zone, or when you want to get back into your resilient zone very quickly. And so these are a set of strategies that are based on our biology, based on our brains, that can bring us back to the moment very quickly. Once again, ultimately helping bring us back into balance so that we can feel more present in each moment to connect with others and make best decisions for ourselves. So drinking a glass of water, touching a surface and notice the texture, look around the room or the space, count backwards from 20. I know I'm going through these quickly, but we'll go through each one and practice each one in a moment. But you can push against a wall or lean against a wall. You can notice the temperature in the room. You could look around and name 6 colors. Go for a walk and notice your feet on the ground. So all of these things, once again, are based on our brain and our biology of how we can get back into the moment very quickly. So, and send a signal of safety to our nervous system to help us feel more grounded. So if you have a glass of water or juice or tea, I know we have a lot of tea drinkers with the mugs on here. I love it. If you have a glass of water or tea, I invite you to just take a sip and perhaps notice the gentle kind of the temperature of the water. Maybe notice it as it goes down your throat, and kind of notice any places that feel more pleasant or neutral as you do that. I felt my shoulders soften, even just watching Amira take a drink, thinking about that sense of really bringing us to the present moment. That temperature, the texture, the taste, all of those sensations can bring us to the present moment. So I invite you to touch a surface and perhaps notice, is it hard? Is it soft? Is it rough? Is it smooth? And then notice, what do you notice happening on the inside? Perhaps a slower heart rate, or maybe muscle relaxation, or perhaps your thoughts slowing, just kind of noticing the texture of the surface. And then I love this one. I invite you to look around the room and notice anything that's pleasant that catches your attention, and just stay there for a moment and notice what's happening on the inside. I know I noticed I took a deeper breath, really looking around the room at a quote that I love. And when our brains can focus on one thing, it allows our brains and our bodies to slow down and to really just focus on that one thing. And then this one, Mel Robbins, I love her work, but she has the 5-second rule and counting backwards from 5 to really get in this out of these rhythms and unconscious patterns. But this is a similar idea that if we can count backwards from 20, our brains, that interrupts the pattern, that interrupts that anxiety, interrupts that way, that pattern of thinking, that we can interrupt it. And so just counting backwards from 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. So just begin noticing anything that's happening on the inside. Is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Just kind of noticing that. And then listening to any sounds around you. Just noticing what's happening. And then this is the last one I'll talk about for right now, but to just go for a walk and notice your feet as they're making contact with the ground. I started doing this every time I now walk to get a glass of water to as I'm walking outside, just noticing, and notice any shifts, right? If you were thinking a lot, maybe you notice a sense of less thinking or more calm thoughts in your mind. So as we begin to close, I want to share another quote that I just absolutely love from Brene Brown once again. She says, "Worthy now, not if, not when. We are worthy of love and belonging now, right this minute, as is." So I just invite you to notice that in your body, where you feel that the sense of community coming together this evening. I noticed some wetness in my eyes, and that's really pleasant. Actually, it's a sense of empowerment. Seeing Amira and just doing this work together is so empowering to me, and I noticed that in my body, and it feels so pleasant. And I have one other quote. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are and what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. Maya Angelou. So I wanted to share, as we close, a few resources. These are some hotlines that are available to you, and an amazing trauma therapist. If you have any interest in that, just want to share a resource for you. She's amazing. She is out of Michigan, but she's doing telehealth as well. But Tasha Turner's her name. Just an incredible woman. And then the trauma resource is always an incredible resource. And then if you want to learn more or get connected to any of the stuff that we're doing, there's a few workshops coming up and series, as well as yoga classes. And I would love to offer a discount for you all, because this community is so special to me, and this mission is so powerful. So that is available. And I just wanted to share, if you've never heard of some of these mentors, I love them. Brene Brown, her work is so powerful. Lisa Nichols, incredible, inspiring woman that I've learned so much from. And then Mel Robbins as well. And then you can reach out to me and find my information. Again, this QR code, groundconnectempower.com. And I truly want to thank you so much for your time tonight, and for allowing me to share this model that has been so powerful and healing in my life, in conjunction with community, and being able to learn and grow with these different science-based tools that have truly helped me. And Amira, I truly want to thank you so much. My heart feels so full to be able to have collaborated with you, and just to think how far we've come in this short amount of time, and to communicate and collaborate with you is a joy. And I'm just so grateful and honored you invited me today. And so thank you all so much for your time.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I so appreciate you joining tonight. I know we're a little over, but I just want to let you know that this Scar Talk will be available on my website, and also my YouTube channel. So I will upload it after this. And just I thank you again, Kelly, so much. I mean, I have to steal some of your quotes, so.
Oh, aren't they great? Oh, of course. Yes. Well, thank you all so much. If you have any questions whatsoever, or need anything, feel free to reach out. I'll be on as well. If you need to talk or want to touch base, please feel free to let me know. And I hope this was helpful. And I'm so grateful for all of you in this beautiful community.
Yay. So guys, contact me if you need anything. I will send out. Kelly has some resources actually that I'm going to be sending out to you guys through email.
Yes.
And I'll get that out to you. But otherwise, thank you guys for joining. Have a great night.
And you're so welcome. Thank you thank you.
Bye,
Thank you so much. Oh, yay.